I'm sure that there is not one single person in this classroom that has not heard of the Berenstain Bears, considering the fact that there are over 240 million copies of their books sold, making the Berenstain Bears easily the best-selling children's book series ever created, not to mention their show on PBS as well as many successful movies. The authors of the Berenstain Bears series are known as Stan and Jan Berenstain. This dynamic husband and wife team first met at an art school in Philadelphia and have been writing and illustrating the books since. After Stan passed away, their son Mike stepped in to take his place and write books alongside his mother. It is said that their inspiration for writing such a successful series was because they chose to focus on difficulties parents faced in raising their children, as well as the trials and tribulations young children faced while growing up. A great way to think of the Berenstain Bears books is as if they were a juicy television series, but in book form for children. The Berenstain Bears reside in a lovely little bear community known as Bear Country. Since the picture books are mainly focused around the bear family's everyday life, the setting of the books mainly takes place in the bears' home, at the cubs' school, and at local places in the community that the family goes to. Places such as the grocery store or library. The main characters in the books are, you guessed it, the Berenstain Bears, which consist of Mama, Papa, brother, and sister. If you've ever read any of their books, you know that Mama is the rational and loving mom. As shown in the book, the Berenstain Bears get into a fight when Mama Bear pulls her cubs to the side after they get into a heated argument, and she explains to brother and sister that yes, loved ones may argue, and that's okay. However, the important thing to remember is that at the end of the day, they are a family that cares for each other, and they shouldn't be spending their days arguing or holding grudges, which reminds young readers of her warmth and her sense of concern. Papa is the tough old father bear who loves his family. He is a woods bear and works as a carpenter. Ironically, Papa is an expert at almost everything, however he's usually right about nothing. Brother is their firstborn cub, and like all young boy bears, he loves sports. His favorite sport to play is soccer. He also enjoys activities like watching television, listening to music, and of course, talking on the telephone. Sister, like any daughter, is very girly, so of course her favorite color is pink. She enjoys jumping rope and hanging out with her friends. When she's not with them, she can be found toting around her favorite doll, Barbie. The authors Stan and Jan made it a point to emphasize the theme in every book, which is the importance of family life. The theme is evident in even the smallest parts of the book, such as the names of the characters. Rather than actually naming the brother, the sister, the mother, and the father, Stan and Jan gave the characters the actual names brother, sister, mama, and papa to further emphasize the theme of family in the books. Young readers can apply the series of books to their lives because the books also center on delivering a positive and uplifting message to young readers by displaying positive values in the books that will shape the cubs into becoming better people. Well, bears. For example, in the book The Berenstain Bears and the Homework Hassle, brother falls behind on his schoolwork and must learn that it is important to be responsible in life in order to advance to other levels. And also because when you are responsible, there is less to worry about. Children reading this book can relate to brother because, like brother, children enjoy activities like sports, talking on the phone, and watching television. All of these fun activities can definitely get in the way of handling responsibilities. This book is an excellent way to show what can happen if you don't prioritize. In the Berenstain Bears lend a helping hand, the cubs learn the value of not only caring for yourself, but also the importance of helping others when they give up their Saturday to help an elderly neighbor organize her attic. This positive and uplifting message expresses how lovely it is to give to others in need, And it provides young readers that may look up to brother and sister with the inspiration to go out and do the same for those in their communities. The last example of how the Berenstain Bears help shape young readers through themes that are family-oriented and focus on uplifting values is in the book The Berenstain Bears and the Blame Game. Children with siblings, as well as students in a classroom, will definitely relate to this picture book because a lot of times when turmoil strikes in the household or school setting, it is easy for children to blame each other and forget that the problem can easily be solved. Mama teaches her cubs the value of owning up to your mistakes, as well as the importance of making them better. In this book, when her cubs accidentally break a window in the living room, she tells her cubs that in the time they spend arguing over who is to blame, they could spend solving the problem together as a supportive family. And the end result is actually more beneficial to the problems than if the cubs had just kept yelling at each other about who was to blame.
Stan and Jan have written all their cub books in as a third-person narrative, in which a narrator outside the story relates events that happen to those in the story, making it easy for young readers to view the overall plot, as well as make it easier for readers to understand each and every side of the story in the book, whether it be through the words, speech bubbles, or illustrations. In the picture book, The Berenstain Bears Get Into a Fight, the author uses a style of bringing in metaphors to further express the relationship between the beauty of making up after an argument and the beauty of a rainbow after a terrible storm. Everyone knows about the rainbow after a storm and how wonderful it is, which almost seems to make young readers want to make up after a fight and have a little rainbow of their own.
Throughout the 250-plus series of Berenstain Bears picture books, Stan and Jan aim to show their young readers how the cubs grow through daily situations and issues that they may face while growing up. In every book, the plot will begin with the cubs presenting young readers with a problem that the reader can compare to their actual life. Sometimes the cubs will solve the problem themselves, and other times the cubs will receive the help of someone older and more knowledgeable, such as their parents or grandparents, which will result in the family coming together for a solution.
If you ever cracked open a Berenstain Bear book, you will notice that the expressions on each of the bears' faces seem to articulate exactly how they are feeling. It's almost as if you've never read the words and just looked at the pictures. Then you can still tell at which point in the story the characters portray feelings of happiness, depression, when they're excited, and the moments of anxiety. Most of their books offer rich colors and vivid details of character traits through the author's use of watercolor-based style for their illustrations. For instance, in The Berenstain Bears and the Bully, the illustrations of the bully ready to fight tells readers that she's no bear to mess with. On the contrary, when the bully gets in trouble with the principal for fighting sister, there's a dramatic change in her demeanor. She instantly goes from being angry and mean to sad and in trouble.
It is evident that the genre of the Berenstain Bears picture books are modern fantasy because modern fantasy focuses on things that happen in the story that wouldn't normally happen in real life, such as the bears talking and acting like humans. Some may think that the Berenstain Bears books are realistic fiction because the bears do everything people do as if they actually are people and not bears, such as go to school, buy groceries, play sports, and even drive. But it is because they are in fact personified animals acting as people that they are still classified as modern fantasy, not realistic fiction. All in all, the Berenstain Bears books are a great source of life skill-based education for children as well as parents because they provide a little something for everyone. And who could go wrong with books like that?